This video is about presenting information. I'm going to be using a package, a desktop publishing package called Publisher. So it would be the sort of package you would use if you were working for a magazine or a newspaper, some kind of publishing company. So I have on a Word document some text and images that I'm going to put onto my information page. So this is the second piece of text. I'm just going to copy that. I'm going to use Control-C as my shortcut, or I could just right click and press copy, and I'm going to go back to Publisher, my desktop publishing package, and I'm just going to paste that on. So I'll just move that underneath here and just resize that. And I want to have a consistent style across the page, so I'm going to check the font that I have for this part. And if you look up here, it's Euphemia and it's size 12 at the minute, so I'm going to apply the same font style to that. So I'll just come down on here. There's Euphemia, size 12. And these red dots are telling me that some of the text isn't fitting in the box, so I'm going to resize the box so that I can see all of the text. And again, to keep a consistent style, I'm going to make that text red as well. Now if I zoom out on the page, you can see that I've got a fair bit of space down here, and I do have a third piece of information to bring in. So I've got I think I'm going to change the size of this so that this is 14, and I'm going to do the same thing to this. So I could do Control Y, which is the same, or maybe not. Let's go 14. And once again, let's just move that down. This is telling me that some of the text now doesn't fit in the box, so I'm going to resize that until it does. And I'm going to move my image down a little bit. Maybe just resize that a little bit. And I'm just going to zoom in again so that I can just check what that's looking like. And I've deliberately done it like this just to make it a bit more interesting, so that I'm using layering to make the image overlap the text box. Now I want to format this text box in the same way, so let's just see what I've got here. Drawing tools, shape outline, and I'm going to go to weight, and that looks good, 3 point, and then I'm going to do the same thing for this one, shape outline, weight, and 3 point. And while I'm there, I might even think about putting a bit of shadow on the text box. Let's just see if shape effects. So play around, see a little bit of shadow there. And if you go down to this section here, you can look at the different shadow options, so you can change the color of the shadow and the size of the shadow and the angle at which the shadow is placed relative to the text box. Right, I'm going to go and get my image for this section. So on Google Images, I've got an image of RAM to use, and before I found that, I went on to Tools and I checked the color as transparent, because I want to put in a background, and if I have a transparency around the image, it'll allow that to sit on the background nicely. I won't have a sort of a white surround. So I do that. Sometimes to get the transparency to work, you actually have to visit the page, which I've done over here. So I'm just going to copy this image. Could copy it from there, it might work from there. So go back onto here. Oop, that's telling me some of the text has gone off. There we go. So I paste that on, and when I bring it across, you can see the transparency around it allows it's not blocking out this bit. If it wasn't transparent, I wouldn't see that bit. I'm going to resize it a little bit, but I was going to use that idea of layering the way I did there, just to make it a bit more interesting. And I think I want these little bits of text to stand out a little bit, because they're sort of the key idea in each box. And and in fact this line here I'm going to center it so it's a heading in there. It seems to have gone off. There we go. So I've got my two text boxes there, and I'm just going to zoom out and just check how they're fitting on the page. Just zoom out a little bit further, and I can see I've got a reasonable space here for my third piece of information. The last thing I'm going to do, two last things, I'm going to just zoom back in and I'm going to insert a little bit of word art and just put my name on it. I'll just resize that maybe. And oops, I've done something I don't want, so I'm going to do Control Z, which is a shortcut for undo, and then I can grab hold of this thing, maybe move it to there, see what that looks like. Or I might decide to put that down at the bottom of the page. And the last thing I'm going to do is put a little background on the page, so I'm going to insert a shape, and I think I'll just use the rounded rectangle, and I'm just going to put that over the whole page. Let's just zoom out. So it's obviously it's just obscured everything on the page at the minute, so I'm going to send that to the back, and I'm not crazy about this blue, so I'm going to choose something, and I don't want it too dark, otherwise the information won't stand out properly. So I think I could choose a little texture maybe, and right, we're going to have to reformat that because it's not standing out. Let's try the colour red, and we've got various fill effects that we could use. Do a little gradient fill. Maybe double click on that colour. I wonder what it would look like with a bit of yellow. See what that looks like. Okay. Not much better, but you get the idea. So let's just have a little look at the whole page, and I think when I come down to do this third bit, I'll probably put the image back on the left hand side with the text there, just to balance the page out as your eye moves down the page.